We got Kenneth Walker news. We got Zach Charbonnet news. Both running backs are injured right now. Pete Carroll talks about it. Both could be sidelined a little while, but we are not even in August. August 1st is on Tuesday, so we have plenty of time, but we have to digest what happens to ADP values. Are a lot of knee-jerk reacting Ned's going to be out there going, Smitty, I just don't understand. Are we fading Kenneth Walker now, Smitty? Are we fading Zach Charbonnet? It's never good. It's never ideal when someone gets injured, but there is a certain amount of reacting you should do and a certain amount of reacting you shouldn't do. And, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to anticipate adding maybe a DJ Dallas to their docket. And I'm going to tell you, come on. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So definitely breaking news here, but what's it all mean and how reactive should you be? A lot of Bobs out there are going to overreact like they always do. And it's natural to have a little bit of a, community freak out session when someone's injured at all. But here's the news. Let me give you the news and let's digest it and break it down to the best of our ability. Seahawks head coach Pete Carroll told reporters that rookie running back Zach Charbonnet has a shoulder injury and is out indefinitely. Now, the indefinitely part is bad. We got to find out what this means. What I would say, the moon is falling apart. I know Atlanta is probably kidding. If he's not, he can take a lap because nothing's falling apart. But anyways, Pete Carroll says that indefinitely for Zach Charbonnet, Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker has a groin injury that is expected to sideline him for a little while. Of these two reports, definitely feels like the Zach Charbonnet news feels a little bit more serious. We're going to find out more on that. If he has some sort of torn rotator or some sort of labrum tear, that could put him on the shelf walking into week 1, which would open the door for Kenneth Walker to become what he was getting drafted to become in January, February, March, where he was a top 15 overall pick. So my little takeaway here is more about we're waiting on this news before we start vaulting him up. Now, the petrified Peters coming in here, I don't think they're gonna see the silver lining here. The silver lining here is that if this injury didn't happen, then this guy would be back into like second round conversations. So the fact that he's banged up right now is almost, I don't want to say injuries are ever good, but a blessing in disguise that if, let's say, news comes out that Zach Charbonnet is going to be out a while, he would vault, he would skyrocket. This injury is going to keep him at bay. Of course, we don't want Walker to have an injury right now, especially these two injuries right here. Groin injury. Groin injuries can linger, but it also depends on the severity. Like when someone says we're going to keep Walker out a while, doesn't mean he suffered a grade 2 tear to his groin. It means he's got a groin injury. We do not want this thing coming back during the season. Let's sit him out for a couple weeks, get it 100% and rock him out into the week 1 on a tear. Like, so there are a lot of people that are going to freak out. I already see it in the comments. There's about 4 worried Williams in the comments, maybe 5 worried Williams in the comments right now that don't realize that it's July 30. It's July 30. He has a groin injury. Has anybody ever played sports before? You're going to have injuries, nicks, and bruises, and you're going to be banged up a little bit heading into August. Not a big deal. So I don't want anybody freaking out on my watch, okay? If you're gonna come in here and say, are we picking up DJ Dallas? Take a lap. If anybody's in the chat said DJ Dallas, you're taking a lap right now. If anybody's freaking out about Kenneth Walker, if anybody said the Moonman list is falling apart, take a lap and
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
Anybody that feels the Moonmen list has been compromised, I'm taking away your Bijan card.
Your Bijan card has been revoked.
It's August 1 on Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. Even on Tuesday, we have well over a month. We're talking about a month. We're talking about a month and then another 10 days, 11 days before we're at a point where we need to be worried. That is over 40 days we have to get a groin injury under control. And definitely worries me about Zach Charbonnet. But like I said, it sounds like Zach Charbonnet potentially could have the worst situation going on. We don't fully know. Maybe Kenneth Walker has a grade 3 tear. We'll find out, but it doesn't appear that way. And the little birdies that are whispering in my ears at a Seattle camp say it's a mild groin injury. It's not considered to be serious right now. Let's take a deep breath. And let's realize that Kenneth Walker's little groin injury is keeping him from vaulting back into round 2. Because if this injury is more severe, and maybe this injury is fine too, out indefinitely, what's that mean? It's certainly not a good term in terms of football and injuries, but let's say it's been blown out of proportion indefinitely, and then that turns into 4 weeks, and he comes back and he's ready for week 1, then I don't know that his value would skyrocket. But if this is like a torn labrum, if this is a 4 to 8 week injury right now, and he's going to be out at least 6, 7, 8 weeks, then Kenneth Walker is literally going to sleepwalk into second round value if he doesn't have an injury or something holding him back. You know, I just feel like everyone's going to miss the upside here. I swear, I feel like I come in here and I have to come up with different ways to try and calm people down all the time. We are 40 plus days away. We're 40 plus days away, and we're freaking out. If you guys are freaking out at some level, not everybody, but 4 or 5 worried Williams in the chat that are panicked, worried, then I can only imagine what's happening outside of our realm. So I'm excited for that opportunity, because whenever a player has some sort of, issue that I don't necessarily believe is a real long-term issue, it's value time. It's value season. Zach Charbonnet was a value. He was an added value to Kenneth Walker's ADP. Made this man a steal in the 4th and 5th round. Now I ask you, where is he going? Is he going 5.5? Is he going 5.10? Could he possibly fall to 6.1? Because it feels like he might. It feels like no one even knows how bad the injury is, and he's already the 6.1. He's already the 6.1 in an up-and-coming best ball draft. I can see it now. He's injured. I'm not drafting him. I'm not taking that risk. And so, therefore, we scoop him up at 6.1. Every little bit of ADP drop I can get, I'll take when it comes to Kenneth Walker. Groin injury in July. I know we're approaching August. I'm not worried yet. Is it ideal? No. But could it end up being a blessing in disguise? It could. It could, because it's going to wash any of the potential climb that might have happened if this guy's out for a long time with the indefinite shoulder injury. So, freak out fest ensue. Your boy Smitty will do his best to calm the storm. Pacheco over Walker now. This is the kind of stuff that makes lap makers. Doesn't mean I don't love Pacheco though, bro. But Pacheco is a 6 or 7 round player. You just told me you're not drafting Walker until round 6. This is excellent news, Derek. It's the best news you could have given me today, because now I know 6th round awaits my Kenneth Walker drafting, and I'm all on board that train, baby. I'm all on board that train. All our guys are going down. Smitty says Jake the Snake. Another take a lap, Jake, because that's false. Some of you are showing your true colors right now, like Jake the Snake. No offense, Jake, but all of our guys aren't going down, Jake. They're suffering nicks and bruises and bangs. So calm down, pal. Calm down, Jake. Calm down. Ron Navy with a $20 hauler. Let's roll.
Alert. Super chat alert.
$20 super chat. $20 super.
Ron Navy says, coming in Coming at you live on Sunday with breaking news at Smitty. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate the super chat. But, I mean, goodness gracious, guys. Bijan will break the rookie rushing record. That's facts right there. He's not only going to break the rookie rushing record, he's going to be the number one rusher in the NFL his rookie year. He's going to be the rushing. He's going to win the rushing title. Let's see here. Smitty, you have a beautiful singing voice. Thank you, Philly. I appreciate you. Trust the process, says Sam. Damian Pierce season says, Kuba. We like Kuba, not over Walker. I do like Pierce. I do love Pacheco. I do love Pierce. You guys know those guys are moon men, either graduates or moon men now in Pacheco. But Pacheco's banged up right now. That's the part that really bothers me. Derek, this is the part that really bothers me. You're one of my people. I feel ashamed of myself that you even asked this question. That's on me. That's on me, Derek. Pacheco's hurt more than Walker's hurt right now. And no one's worried about it because he was hurt coming in. The expectation's low. Pacheco's got a broken hand he's rehabbing, which I'm not concerned about. He's got a torn labrum that had surgery, which he's rehabbing, and I'm not concerned about. And he's out probably longer than Walker right now. And you just said Pacheco over Walker now? What are we doing here, Derek? Derek, you know I love you, pal. I'm not trying to run you off. I love you. I love you. I'm here for you. I'm your coach. I'm yelling at you. I'm screaming at you because your coach is not going to tell you, oh, good job, Derek, running that half lap, that half-ass lap you just took around the track. I'm your coach. I'm going to tell you high knees. Pick up the speed, Derek. I know you can run faster than that, Derek. I know you can win the race tomorrow, Derek. But if you don't train a little better, Derek, your coach is upset. Derek, your coach is upset at you. I'm yelling at you, but it doesn't mean I don't appreciate you. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to be there for you. Doesn't mean I'm not going to help you win your championship, Derek. But you can do better than this. High knees, Derek. High knees. What are we talking about here? I knew this was going to happen. I come in here, we got Walker freakouts all over the place. He's got a groin injury. It's not severe. It's not severe. And it's not severe, and he's also going to be grabbed later in your draft. He's going to be sitting there at 6.1, and people are scared. That's great news. That's great news. Trust no one, but I like Sun God more than Evans, says Swaggy. We're having a track meet today. We are. You know, and sometimes you come to practice and coach is a little fired up at everybody. Everybody's taking laps. That's just the way it is. You don't like that, this might not be the show for you. If you don't like your coach yelling at you, somebody comes in and goes, Smitty, I like your content. You do a really good job. I appreciate it, but you're yelling at people is really distasteful. It's not a good look, and I just wanted to be honest and give you some honest feedback because I'm a feedback Freddy. And I'm a feedback Freddy, and I've got a little honesty for you, Smitty. Let me try and change your show so that you're a boring cookie cutter son of a bee that comes on here and just talks mundane and very, very, monotone. We are going to monitor the situation about Kenneth Walker. The best thing to do is probably just sit here like a rock. And we're going to eventually have something plentiful and exciting to say after it's obvious and he's healthy. Okay? Once he's healthy and he's back, I'll come in here and do a video and go, Kenneth Walker's healthy. Captain Obvious reporting live. Kenneth Walker's healthy. Continue drafting him in round 4 and 5. Or we could tell Feedback Freddy to toughen up and enjoy the show. Because I'm not here to hold your hand and to not scream at you to take a lap. I'm not here to be your best friend all the time, even though we're pretty good pals, aren't we? All of us bro fist on 3. Boom. We're family. But family yells at each other once in a while. Family lets family know when their shiat smells, okay? And right now, I'm telling you, Derek, I'm telling you, I don't like what I'm seeing, Derek. I love you, pal. I love you, pal. But I don't like what I'm seeing. Take a big fat lap, Derek. Hey, now that Kenneth Walker's got an unknown, probably small groin injury, Smitty, do we go after Pacheco, who's rehabbing 2 bigger injuries? Because my expectation was that I knew that was happening. Now, you're pulling the rug out from under me, and now all the Moon Men are hurt. All the Moon Men are hurt, Smitty. Joe Burrow, has anybody heard Joe Burrow's not playing week 1? Has anybody heard that Garrett Wilson's not playing week 1? I don't think I understand that all the Moon Men are going down. What's going down mean? Going down to me means you're not playing. You're down, you're injured, you're out. As far as I know, this Moon Man list looks good.
The Moon Men dropping loads in outer space.
I'm not worried here. Even though I'm yelling at Derek about this, I'm not worried here.
Space Moon says.
Not worried here yet. Probably will be. Right here, I know there's some panic about what's going on there, but Discount City might be inbound. Pollard, Gibbs, Bijan. Garrett Wilson's not in jeopardy of playing week 1. Olave, Watson, London, Pickens, Dotson, Ridley, T-Law, Fields, Chigakonkwo, Kincaid getting good news today. He looks the part, they say, in Buffalo. Look, we're gonna have bangs and bruises and dings going on here. Okay? Yeah, this is a situation that's unfolding with Breece Hall and people are freaking out. Yeah, we're worried about this injury here. Yeah, he's banged up with his ankle, but everything's indicating he's fine. It's a lower ankle injury. We could freak out left and right if we want on our own Moon Men list. That magnificent list, not to mention the Mars list looks phenomenal.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Men.
Phenomenal. And if you're going to discount Burrow, go do it.
Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
You're going to discount Garrett Wilson, go do it. Go do it live. I'll be here to scoop them up. Okay. Let's see here. What do we got? These kind of injuries happen every year and overreactions happen. Smitty's right. Look, you know what else I'm going to enjoy? Derek, appreciate you. Derek, let's bro fist that out. I'm sweating these last 5 laps. Look at this man. This is a man that learns from his mistakes. This is a man that runs faster when you tell him to go faster. This is a man that you're going to face some of you. He's going to win your league because he's working hard. He's working harder than the average bear out there, taking his laps, taking his lumps, and taking them like a man. He's not complaining and crying, Smitty. I really like your show, but when you yell at people, it's very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. When you yell at people, Smitty, it's like when I come in, I want to be coddled, and I want to be told that everything's fine. I don't like to be told that I drafted a shitty team, Smitty. If you draft a bad team, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you to get out there. I'm going to slap you on the rear end, send you on your way, and have you get out there and draft a magnificent team the next time you draft. That's the way it is. Dameon Pierce over Walker. I love Dameon Pierce, my guy, Jeff. I love Dameon Pierce. I love him, but he's a 6th or 7th round player. Okay? Walker is a 2nd round player that moved down to round 4. Well, initially round 3 because a lot of knee-jerking Neds out there. Knee-jerk reaction Neds out there. Said, oh, God. Zach Charbonnet's on roster. We gotta move Kenny Walker down, ladies and gentlemen. Kenny Walker Skywalker is now playing second fiddle, and we're gonna move him down to the 3rd round. Not far enough. Let's move him to the 4th round. Not far enough. Let's move him to 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. And now he may, I don't know. Nobody knows. Maybe his groin injury ends up being worse than his shoulder. At this point, the way the verbiage is and what I'm hearing, there's a lot higher likelihood that this is a problem here for rookie running back Zach Charbonnet, because he's out indefinitely with the shoulder. We are going to hear what it is. Is it a torn labrum? Is it a torn rotator? Is it just a sprain? Could it be okay? Is it a broken collarbone, which oftentimes some people will mix up with a shoulder injury because really your collarbone connects to your shoulder. There's all kinds of things. Could it be nothing? Could it be a minor sprain and he's back in 2 weeks? He's got to learn the offense, though. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you, Jeff, and everybody out there, and Jeff, your family, Jeff. Your family. It's okay if I yell at family. You'll forgive me, Jeff. Okay? But, Jeff, the thing here is that if this didn't happen, if this man didn't have a groin injury right now, this news would vault him back into the top of 3, maybe bottom of 2. There's silver lining here that's hard to see. It makes it very cloudy. There is risk involved. I truly believe there's risk involved. Like, I'm not coming here and say, hey, there's zero risk involved. I'm putting a blindfold on, and I'm riding my horse into the war with the blindfold on. Just absolute idiocy. I got a blindfold on right here. I don't have a blindfold. I thought I had a blindfold. I'm riding into the storm with a blindfold, into the war, because I'm not going to get shot. I'll be okay. I'll be fine. Let's just ride blindly into battle. That's not what I'm doing. I'm assessing the risk. There's risk that this groin injury turns into more. Certainly. But we're not 1 week out, people. We're 40 days away from where this guy's got to be on the field. And while he's out, this guy can't take his job because he's probably more injured than this guy. And this guy's not so injured that I'm worried unless he goes out and has some sort of setback, trying to get back too early. Those are things we can't control. But let me tell you something. And we do have the Kenny McIntosh. Is he a cuff? He is. At this point, he is a cuff because we don't even know how injured he is. Kenny McIntosh could vault up and become the cuff to Kenneth Walker. And you might get a little work out of him if for any reason this groin injury does get worse or there's some sort of tear we find out about. Is there risk? Yeah. Are you drafting tonight and you want to know what my assessment is? There's risk involved. But if you can get him at 5.5, 5.8, 6.1, I'm smashing it all day long. I'm still cuffing him right now, and his value probably dropped to about 115 overall from about 100 overall. So the risk is absolutely low. I might even cuff McIntosh, Charbonnet to my Walker, which some people are going to say, Smitty, you draft 3 RBs for 1 spot? Not if you've got 4 bench spots, Bobby. Okay, if you've got 4 bench spots, I can't help you with cuffing and doing all that. But if you've got a deep bench, you might just grab all 3. I don't think it's DJ Dallas. It's Kenny McIntosh. Okay? And the bottom line is this. Being petrified, being scared is not going to win you championships. Maybe the petrified Peter avoids the injury that Kenneth Walker could have because the groin injury is there. And you can kind of say in hindsight, if this went badly, oh, I kind of knew it, right? I should have just avoided him. Maybe avoiding Angus is going to not have this situation on his hands, but he's not going to win his league anyway. He's not going to win his league anyway because the guy's petrified. Just like Peter, just like Paul. Every petrified Peter and petrified Paul out there is not taking risks, and this doesn't even feel like a big risk to me. And it's a blessing in disguise that they're both banged up the moment this news breaks, because if Zach Charbonnet ends up being out for the year or 6 months or 2 to 3 months, and he may or may not, but out indefinitely doesn't sound good, then if this news broke on Charbonnet today and Walker didn't have a what I believe and what I'm hearing to be a pretty minor groin injury that they want to be very careful. They're 40 days out. Let's sit him out for a couple weeks. Just get it in the rear view. Just like Burrow. Burrow's injury is not thought to be a serious calf strain, but if they sit him out for 2 or 3 weeks, we're 40 days out, both of them should walk out onto the field and go, and they're rehabbing every day anyway. They're moving it, they're stretching it, they're walking. They're going to walk out and go, I don't feel it anymore. And what do? Attention, all of the 6th round Joe Burrow drafters and all of the 6th round Kenneth Walker drafters, please report to the huddle, the fantasy huddle. On 3, we're going to say championship. Ready? 1, 2, 3, break. Championship. Because every single one of you petrified Peters that leaves Walker to round 6 and Burrow to round 6 and maybe Garrett Wilson and his lower ankle injury, not a high ankle sprain, a low ankle sprain. They're going to sit there and shove these guys down handfuls of draft slots. Garrett Wilson at the top of 2, championship. Joe Burrow top of 6, championship. I do a video coming out on Joe Burrow in the freak out, how to handle it, what to do. And that video is going to talk about how even I, overly optimistic Smitty, on Joe Burrow is going to tell you there's nothing wrong with going 50% Fields, 50% Joe Burrow going forward because I love both of them. Both of them could be the number 1 quarterback. So with the risk involved, there is that potential to say, hey, let's wash some of the risk and go Fields heavy for the next couple weeks. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? That's being cautious, but also being a baller at the same time because Fields is going to ball. That's not petrified. That's smart. But am I going to avoid Walker without that complementary player that's sitting there that has the kind of upside Walker has? No, I'm not. Am I going to go all in on Walker in a lot of situations, round 6? Every time. Every time I see Walker sitting in round 6, I'm going to smash. I'm going to smash. And I'm not even hesitating. I think we got a couple more super chats in the building that I haven't got to yet. Avi says, I want Walker now more than ever. And that's what I'm trying to say to all of the petrified Peters out there. The phone lines will be open in 1 second, Avi. Just give me 1 second to finish my ranting and raving. Eric dropping a 5 says, Smitty, I sent a DM on Twitter for K9 breaking news. Eric, we're already here, Eric. I appreciate it, Eric, but how does that help me, Eric? I get so many DMs, Eric. I'll never see that tweet even now. And I don't even think it's called Twitter anymore, Eric. I think it's called X. So that's probably why I didn't see it. Eric, appreciate your super chat. I love my followers. I love my followers because you guys do DM me like crazy when an injury happens. And so Eric's trying to be the one to break it. I love it. I love it. Look, Eric, there have been plenty of times that a super chatter has broken news on the show. They go, Smitty, breaking news, boom. Yesterday that happened. I forget what the report was. Yesterday, I forget, somebody super chatted. We were live, so we didn't have like the news constantly pulled up. I refresh it every 10 minutes or whatever on the live stream, but this super chatter came in, dropped a super chat. So Eric, you keep attempting to break the news. I have faith in you, Eric. You are going to be the one that drops the Joe Burrow is completely 100% breaking news, Smitty. Here's a super chat. Put it up on the screen, and you're going to be the victor of the day. Eric to the moon. Appreciate you, Eric. Appreciate you. It's my boy. Avi, calling in 1 second. D-Class, I live for the megaphone, says D-Class. Appreciate you. Okay, to wrap up everything. I'm not mad at Jeff. I love Jeff. I'm trying to motivate Jeff. I'm not mad at, what was his name? What was his name? Derek? Was it Derek? I'm not mad at Derek. I'm not mad at my boy. I yelled at so many people I don't even know. I'm not mad at any of you. I'm your coach. I'm here to calm the storm. That's all this is. Phone lines open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
All right, let's kill the music and let's take some phone calls. I know some of you are still going to be on the ledge. I imagine a lot of you won't be. I don't want anybody to think I don't have concern. I don't want anybody to think that I don't believe that there's a potential risk here. I just think that any risk that is present from an late July, early August groin injury that is categorized as not a big concern, but could keep him out a little while just to make sure he's good, just like Joe Burrow. I don't think those things I don't think the reaction is warranted. I think it's an overreaction. It's a knee-jerk reaction. And at more times than not has a direction of wrong, like it swings in the wrong direction to the point where we get to all take advantage of and scoop up Kenny Walker, scoop up Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow fell to the 6th round. I had 2 followers last night show me their draft board where Joe Burrow went at 7.1 and I think 7.3. Okay, Joe Burrow in round 6 because of the calf injury is better than Joe Burrow in round 4 without the calf injury. I gladly take on the risk. Just like Walker is better in the 5.1 to 5.3 territory with Zach Charbonnet healthy on roster than Walker in the second round at 14 overall with Charbonnet not on the roster. Kenneth Walker at 6.1 with the groin injury, with Charbonnet on the roster with the shoulder injury, even if it's not serious, is better than Walker in round 2, fully healthy at 14 overall. It's all perspective. It's all what lens are you looking through. And if you don't see an injury opportunity, you're looking at it from one angle, from one lens, and you don't see the objective here. The objective in fantasy football is simple. Draft the best player every time you're on the clock. Pick up the best player anytime you can pick someone up. Trade the best player, or trade for the best player anytime you can make an acquisition that makes your team better. The advantage is, where are the chess pieces on the board the moment you're making your decision? And it does suck if, let's say, Walker does have this groin injury, it lingers, McIntosh gets in there and gets some work, Charbonnet comes back sooner than Walker, which I don't think is the vibe right now. It sounds like this could be serious, or at least more serious. Even if he's not out for four weeks to 2 months or whatever, let's say it's the equal in seriousness. And we'll assume that this is a worst case scenario. Right here, I'm taking the risk gladly at 6.1 and every single time, because there's no indication that he's missing significant time. Just like Joe Burrow, there's no indication he's missing week 1 or having this linger into the season. You have some concern, and that concern is being addressed via the ADP drop. But Walker was already an absolute steal in the 5th round. Like stupid steal. Like the stupidest ADP value I've seen all offseason long. 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. It's stupid low. It's the best deal in fantasy. And so I'm glad there's a market reaction to the groin injury. I think there should be. But keep in mind, he's so far ahead, Walker, of his actual likely to earn value comparative to his ADP of 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, that this baked in additional risk, it's perfect. It's perfect. Now, do I want everybody to draft him in every league? No, I mean, I probably will, because I'm a risky guy in some sense with some of the players I believe in, and I'm okay with that. I'll let a whole season crash and burn versus trying to be careful Caleb. You know, if Breece Hall concerns, his ACL injury doesn't scare me off from doing the same thing this year, because it was a freak ACL injury, and if Hall didn't go down, we would have won so many leagues by landslides. It wouldn't have been even comparable across another platform or another show or whatever. We would have just absolutely cleaned up across the board, because I would say our following had 80-90% of it had Breece Hall. But it also had Walker. It also had Pierce. It also had Jalen Hurts. It also had a lot of guys that stepped up. But this is a great value here. I got Ron Navy on the line, and then Avi. Ron Navy is a Mars man. Go ahead, Ron Navy. You are live, my guy.
What's up, Smitty?
Not much. I was in the middle of a Joe Burrow video, in the middle of an A-Rod and Jordan Love video, but that got put on the back burner because this news broke on Charbonnet. There was also the news kind of floating around on Walker that I was going to potentially do a video or go live on anyway, because there is concern about Walker. But once this report broke on Charbonnet having the indefinite, absence with the shoulder injury, I thought, God, I just got to jump live and hit both of these at the same time. And I don't want people to think that I'm so unbiased, or I'm so biased toward Walker, that I'm just saying, oh, they're both injured. Don't worry about his injury, but worry about his. But there is some, like if the roles were reversed and he was out indefinitely and he was going to miss some time, I would be completely honest and go, okay, we gotta step back, just similar to the JT stuff. My advice on JT is to not draft him. It's step back, let the dust settle. Let's see where the ADP level is out at, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about, okay, do we like it? Do we not like it? My guess is we won't like it. My guess is I'm still going to avoid JT at all costs right now with all the red flags going on there. He's unhappy. He wants a new home. He's not going to get it. He's going to play unhappy. Does he hold in for a while? Does that increase the likelihood of injury? There's vulturing and of touchdowns in Indy. It's a new system. All that stuff is concerning as hell. Like tons of red flags. I just listed like 5. Now, this right here, if the roles were reversed and he was out indefinitely with a shoulder injury, I would have concerns. And I probably would say to you guys, look, we got a lot of Walker shares in the 5th round. I think it's still very, very good value, even in hindsight of him being banged up. But I'll say draft him at your own risk right now, but stepping back and waiting isn't a bad move. I truly am not concerned about the groin injury right now. It's never great. You never want a player you love to be dealing with anything, even a broken pinky. Nothing. You don't want you want him to have a perfect, healthy season. Off season heading into the year. That's not football. That's not running backs. Here's 2 running backs on the same team. Both of them are hurt. That happens. But I'm definitely not concerned at 6th round value, and that sounds like where Walker's going, because question after question in here today was, do we like Pacheco more? Do we like Dameon Pierce more? And I don't hate that take. Like, if someone does want Pierce over Walker, I don't think it's the worst take in the world, but I think you can in some cases draft both still, or maybe you do that in a handful of leagues, but if you run away from the opportunity altogether of getting Walker at 6th round value, it's going to be the same thing that happened with Barkley. Barkley fell into the 3rd round. You had about a week and a half to consume Barkley shares at 3.1, 3.2, 3.3. You can make him your 3rd drafted player. Barkley's back in round 1. Back in round 1. The knee-jerk reactions were so severe, you got him in the 3rd round as a 3rd drafted player. I think the risk is more likely that you're going to regret not getting the 6th round value than later on us finding out that things are worse than we thought, or in week 1 he re-aggravates it or something. I think you're going to be really upset at yourself, just like someone might be that didn't want to take a chance on Barkley anywhere,
That's why we drafted the combo. I mean, last year, look, we knew Penny was going to get injured at some point, and Walker started the year. Remember, it wasn't a groin; it was a hernia, right? And we knew it wasn't. He was going to be out a few weeks and stuff like that, or more than a few weeks. But he got over it and he smashed it. I think the same thing with a groin injury. It's in the same type of area that he's going to get over it and he's going to smash it. Charbonnet, I agree with you. We got to wait and see on his with the indefinite thing, but that's why we drafted early, and that's why you cuff them for that type of situation, because that happens just like San Francisco. They injure their certain quarterbacks in their backs. Seattle backs get injured too, just like almost the same. You just got to roll with the punches there. I'm not worried about it.
Can I show you guys? Let me give you the psychology twist of this, okay? Because you guys know I love the psychology in fantasy football. So let me just kind of paint a picture here of the human condition. Here is let me move all this stuff out of the way. Where to draft Hopkins? So we'll change this to Walker's ADP 7/30/23. Okay, so this is to explain psychology, the mind, overreactions, how people react. So Kenneth Walker before Zach Charbonnet was going at what? About Ron 2.4, like right around there, right? 2.4, 15 over. So let's say Zach Charbonnet was not ever drafted to the Seattle Seahawks. He would probably, if he had a groin injury right now, fall to where? Maybe the 3rd round? People would say, oh, I don't know. They're still going to take him, but it's like, what is this groin injury? What looks to be minor, what does this do to his ADP if, let's say, Zach Charbonnet was never drafted onto the roster? 3rd round, I would assume, right?
Yeah, somewhere, maybe top of the 4th, 3rd.
Okay, so that's the crazy part. is let's put Zach Charbonnet back onto the board, and he's not even going to go in these first 8 rounds, but we'll just put him at the end of round 8 so people can envision that he's drafted, right? Zach Charbonnet is now on the squad, okay? And let's say tomorrow morning we get word that he's out for 2-3 months with some sort of massive shoulder issue because he's ruled out indefinitely right now, which is not a good look. If we take him off the board, let's say he's out, this is where you just said, I just said, and I think everybody watching just said, with the groin injury alone and no Zach Charbonnet, Walker should be in this 3 top of 4 territory. He's now right here. It's the order of things that made people look like you deflate their balloon, their expectations lower. So if Zach Charbonnet is out of the picture and he has a groin injury, I think he still stays in this 5-6 territory instead of the 3-4. It's the biggest amount of overreacting you can find, and I almost promise you that if Charbonnet's out a significant amount of time, this guy's not climbing much higher than 5th round territory, and it wouldn't have gone that way if the order of things was different. Walker in round 6 wins you a league. I just, without having a groin tear, which we don't hear he has, everything we're hearing seems to be it's merely he's going to be out a little while, which is totally typical. You're going to do that with a player that gets injured. You've got a whole heck of a lot of time before week 1. We have literally 40-something days. Kenneth Walker, let's see. I'm going to see if there's anything else. Told reporters rookie Zach Charbonnet has a shoulder injury and is out indefinitely. I don't see any updates on anything. Rappaport said not great. It's definitely not great. It's not ideal. No one's excited about it. But there's always an opportunity with a negative situation. Charbonnet, his injury. Let's say Walker didn't get injured. Okay, so Walker is right now, he's going at 5.1 with Zach Charbonnet on the roster. Zach Charbonnet's healthy. Again, he's in like round 10, but I want to put him here so you can see him on the board. If Zach Charbonnet was injured and tore his shoulder and is out 3-4 months or for the season, let's say, Walker, who's going 5.1, if he wasn't injured, would probably climb to 4, maybe even the bottom of 3. Would you agree? If, let's say, Zach Charbonnet was out for the season and Walker didn't have the groin injury, he would go from the 5th round to bottom of 3 easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then why was he here? Why was he here in the top of the 2nd round before Zach Charbonnet was drafted? You see what I'm saying? People do not, they don't self-correct. They don't correct the market properly. And that's where the psychology comes in. He would go from 5th round to maybe bottom of 3, mid-3rd. He would not return to the place he was before none of this happened. And that's all I'm saying is you got to look at it from like a bird's eye view and just say, where are the pieces moving on the board? And the bottom line is no matter what happens, Walker is going to be a steal all offseason long. There's risk involved, sure. There's risk in anybody.
A big question is, if Charbonnet is out indefinitely, do the Seahawks, knowing that the Seahawks are major into the run, do they go out and do they look at getting Cook? Do they look at getting TJ? Do they go out and look for getting that running back? Because they're not just gonna hoof it with a rookie, right? I mean, it's Charbonnet, but I mean Musgrave. They're gonna go out and get somebody else that's in the market because they're cheap. So do they go out and get Dalvin Cook? Do they go out and get one of those free market running backs that we're waiting to see where they go?
They certainly look at Zeke. They certainly look at Zeke. They certainly look at all those options, but I don't know that those affect me much. Like Dalvin Cook, I don't know that Dalvin Cook's going to change directions and go towards Seattle, but you never know. It depends. If the news broke now, maybe he does schedule a visit, and that would be very, very interesting turn of events. But certainly feel like as of this moment, I don't know that they're truly that concerned about filling Charbonnet's role as much as they would if Walker went down. Then I think they do bring in a Zeke, or they try and find something more secure. But like
that's the thing with Walker was injured a little bit last year. We all know that, and that kind of put him smashing it last year a little bit behind schedule. But that's the thing is, if you're Pete Carroll, you're thinking, oh wow, I got these running backs that always seem to be injured. I better shore this up.
Yeah.
Walker's injured now. Out indefinitely. I need some more running backs in here. Give me some more running backs.
He might, but he did draft a McIntosh as well. So he has a surplus of them right now. So he might say, okay, if Charbonnet's out and I don't think Charbonnet will be out for the year, but because the nature of the shoulder injury, but let's say he's out for 2 months or something like that. He's not going to learn the offense. He's not going to come in and take Walker's job anytime in 2023 because he'll be so far behind. There's no way. He'll be a special teams guy. Keep in mind, Pete Carroll, when Charbonnet picked up the phone and Pete Carroll said, "You are drafted, young man, comma, you're going to have to play special teams." We don't even know what Zach Charbonnet's role would have been. So I think the freak out is far less in Pete Carroll's mind if it's this guy versus this guy. If Walker goes down, which he's not, and that's the whole point, is he has a minor groin injury, and anybody that categorizes this as a lingering, I've seen a couple comments in the chat, lingers throughout the year. That is such a blanket statement that you can't say. Every injury is slightly different than the next. Some are more severe than others. The grades matter. Is there damage? What is it? Is it just a strain? You start using words like, "Oh, this will linger all year long," and you don't even know what the severity is when we're hearing it's minor. I think that's the casual Caleb take that. I get it. I understand it. That's why I'm here screaming and yelling to try and convince as many people that are watching as possible not to overreact and miss an opportunity. I want those people to understand that there's risk. Could I be marching you down a path of risk? Sure. But is the risk worth taking? I'm saying I calculate it as a risk worth taking in the 6th round. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Same type of thing as last year. Remember the grade on his hernia? We were all looking because
right.
hernias, whatever. We found out it was a lower grade hernia, and he wasn't expected to be on the shelf for a long period of time. And this is the exact same type of injury. It's we don't know the grade yet, so there's no use of freaking out. I'm not freaking out over it. I think he'll be fine. Charbonnet,
Yeah,
I got a lot. We both got Charbonnet, but that's why we took Charbonnet with Walker. Is pair him up because if something happens to one, you have the other.
Yeah, Charbonnet has a shoulder injury, guys. If anybody's just joining, he's out indefinitely. Walker has the groin injury, which will keep him out a little bit of time, but there's no indication that Walker's is severe. The indefinite verbiage being used with Charbonnet is usually not a good term. However, could be reported wrong. There's a lot of things we've got to keep into account here. But the shoulder injury for Charbonnet feels more severe and likely to have some sort of update soon that is not a good update. It goes in a much worse direction than it goes into a positive direction. But hey, it could be something to where they think it's worse than it is. They go in for testing and he everything's going to be good. He should be out a couple weeks though, but he's going to be back. But the good news is if injury is not good for anybody, but the silver lining here, if let's say he's even out a couple weeks and he's out a couple weeks, he doesn't take his job while he's out. And number 2, he knows the offense, Kenneth Walker. Charbonnet is learning it, and so that puts Charbonnet behind. And if anything, if you want silver lining, it's a lot harder for him to come in and take work away from Walker with him starting out injured. So it's a good thing.
Yeah. No, I'm not freaking out about it until we find out more.
Yeah.
Oh, and to correct the record, that was a $50 hauler I gave you, not a $20 hauler.
What did I say? 20?
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me
Your
go.
system, I think, brings it up at 20, and you don't see it.
Yeah,
You
my
need to come
bad.
up with a
$50 hauler. You probably should get like a little extra, like a rain action as well when you do a 50. Probably. D class, thank you for the super chat as well.
For my, I get another bowl prediction. I think I'm up to 3 now.
Yeah.
In the pocket, I think I'm up to 3.
Think about them and drop them when you're feeling frisky about it.
Yeah.
Boy, this is
I don't know if you saw that, but and everybody should. I had another baseball pick 'em for 800 today. So.
Jeez, for 800.
800, yeah.
Look, Ron, you might have cracked the code on the non-football sports.
So Oh, it's been tougher lately, but yeah. So anybody get over there, use code Smitty, underdog.
Yeah, but I mean, boy, guys, this isn't ideal. No injuries are ideal, but there's opportunity where things are not ideal, and that's what I'm mainly here to motivate people with. Let's see, Scared Scott's calling in. I'm sure he's petrified about this situation. And then Avi, I'm going to go to Avi. Actually, let's go to Avi real quick. Avi, you're live.
Yo, what's going on, Smitty? No rush. I like Walker now more, so I was high on Walker going into before the NFL draft, and I don't know why they took this guy. I'm not going to lie. I don't think he's a bad player. I think he's good. But I think Walker's honestly way better at Michigan State, so I think it helps Walker. And hopefully he's healthy too. But, I mean, if you get Walker in the 5th round even, I think 5th round is – if Walker's my 5th player, I'm chilling.
I mean, he's cemented into the 5th round now. He was kind of like he was flirting at the turn, like in underdog. I was getting him like clockwork, but it was like in draft slots where I had, the 50, the 5.1, the 5.2, 5.3, 5.4. Now I think he's cemented into the round 5 territory. So 5.8, 5.9, 5.5, and so that's great. But and D-Class just updated us that on a draft he's doing Charbonnet dropped 24 draft slots. So Zach Charbonnet is now going at 124. Now it's even easier to cuff him. I think that's a situation where you just grab, Charbonnet no matter what, because who cares about 124th overall pick? That's worth a little bit of a stab. Silence says, "Come on, guys, you're trusting Pete Carroll to Seattle." Let's see, saying here, Lenny, Zeke, or Hunt. Boom. I mean, they'll certainly, if Sharp's out a long time, bring in one of those guys, but that's not scaring me, pal. I'm sorry. You silence, stay silent. Let's go over to Scared Scott. Let's see how scared he is.
Petrified.
I'm sure you are.
Charbonnet, I got him everywhere.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I've been going light on. I've been taking, like, in the first 8 rounds, I'm taking only like 2 running backs, and then I'm starting in the 9th and grabbing Charbonnet, Bigsby, Mitchell, Algier. People, running backs that have a role that can come in and play, but also have massive upside.
Yeah,
and
and
loading up on my receivers.
You should never be expecting Charbonnet to come in, though. He's like an accoutrement. He's a player you're hoping something happens, but you should never be expecting anything out of him. He's a late pick, so. But I do agree.
Yeah.
I'm not happy about my standalone Charbonnet shares right now, but I have so many Kenneth Walker shares that my concern's more with Kenneth Walker. And going forward, I'm going to own both of them. I'll probably draft both of them as much as I possibly can, and I'm not looking at this from a crazy risk perspective. I think the opportunity is greater than the risk. That's what it's all about. JT, the opportunity is not greater than the risk. So here's an example. JT, where's JT falling? JT's falling now to the bottom of the 2nd round. So one might say, Smitty, why do you like Walker falling when he's injured, but you don't like JT falling and he's still technically injured, but he's less injured. He's on the PUP. He's holding in sort of like, vibe, right? Why do you not like JT more? Because the risk feels so much heavier on his situation, the vulturing touchdowns, the unhappy situation, the likelihood of getting hurt if he's skipping camp and all that. Now, Walker missing time, there's a likelihood that increases for him to get banged up during the season, but I think it's all packaged into 6th round value, so I'm not too overly concerned. But Matthew's dropping a $10 super chat. All $10 haulers get a
to the
moon shot. Matt says, should I trade JJ for 2 first-rounders and Metcalf and Knox? I have Kincaid and Geno, so I'm considering it. Wanted to know what you think. First-rounders don't mean crap to me when you're talking about Chase or JJ, unless you can guarantee me it's the 1.1 or 1.2. If these are 2 mid-first rounders, I could give a crap. It's like 2 Quentin Johnsons for JJ? No way. Not even close. Even if one was JSN and one was Quentin Johnson, like you get a 4th overall and you can't guarantee me a 1, Matthew. I could give 2 craps about getting first round picks when I've got JJ or Chase or Bijan. So that's a hard no. You were getting DK, and I do like that, but I'm just not interested unless I know what it is. So if you told me Smitty, I'm pretty sure it's going to be the 1.1 or has a real nice shot at it. I mean, I'm okay with having the conversation, but at that point we'd have to discuss it and evaluate it. Versus now I can just slam the door, because if it's 2 Quentin Johnsons and DK for JJ, forget about it. And that's all I can assume at this point. We got that boy with a $20 holler on screen. Let me do this.
Alert. Super chat alert.
That boy says 10-man, 2 QB, 3 wide receiver, PPR, just drafted Trevor Lawrence, Watson. Running backs are Pollard, Brees. Wide receivers are Chase, Amon-Ra, Debo, Dotson. That's a fire team, bro. Okonkwo, bench, Zay Flowers, Charbonnet, Kincaid, Madison. Very, very good, very good team, my guy. I mean, you got an electric squad. You got Brees Hall as your second running back. Pollard's a fantastic running back. One, considering you got Chase, Amon-Ra, and Debo, and Dotson, and Trevor Lawrence. I love it. You're gonna crush in that situation. I don't even see any opportunities to trade or some players I want you to trade away. I like everybody you got. I like the Kincaids on your bench. That's great, bro. You might want to even go after Walker at this point using... You really can't use anything, honestly. Maybe if it's a 1 QB, which I assume it is. 10-man. Oh, 10-man, 2 QB, and you got Watson and Trevor Lawrence? That's amazing, bro. That's great. Even for a 10-man league, that's fantastic. I Smitty approved that team. After learning that, it's even better. Okay, so this is crazy, guys. This is a lot of news going on the last couple days, and none of it's devastating, but certainly there's stuff that's lingering around that feels like, okay, there's some changing and shifting in ADP value. Some of it could be good though, like this one. Go ahead, Avi.
Why is this year there's already too many injuries in training camp? Are teams going too hard? Like, I feel like I've never seen this many like news with just injuries.
Yeah, but they're not season ending though. So
yeah.
I'm not
crazy.
Yeah, and keep in mind, social media is so big now, and the way things are reported, things seem crazier every year when sometimes they're not. It's like an emphasis, what a year ago I wasn't going live on every single piece of breaking news, so people would find out about this stuff differently. Now it's like you wake up and you get punched in the face. Charbonnet shoulder injury, wake up! $10 or $5 hauler from Wesley. Thank you, Wesley. 10-man casual draft. Fields, Bijan, Gibbs, Garrett Wilson, Waddle, and Joku, DJ Moore, Swift, Javonte. That's a great squad, bro. That's a great squad. I don't even see much I want to tweak there. I want you keeping Fields. I want you keeping Gibbs and Bijan. I love Garrett Wilson, Waddle, DJ Moore, Swift, Javonte. Maybe you've got an opportunity to trade Swift or Javonte later to upgrade DJ Moore. That's the only thing I keep my eye on, and you can poke around at it now, try and get, a Olave or somebody in there using maybe Javonte and DJ Moore or even higher, reach higher than that. You could probably even get more than Olave. That's the only thing I would look to do. That's a great squad, bro. Really, really like it. All right, Petrified Scott is still on the phone. Oh, he hung up. He was so scared he had to keep the line clear in case his bookie was calling, because I think he had to change some of the Charbonnet bets that he had going on. So he had to bail. I'm going to get off because I got to go do the throne draft order. So if you guys might already know that we're doing the fantasy football throne this year in August instead of July. That's where you guys draft my team for me. Every time we're on the clock, I'll either go live on Instagram, or if I'm live on YouTube, I'll go live and you guys draft the team for me. And then we take our team into battle and we fight against 11 other, content creators, and your team that you decide that you vote on will either win or not win the fantasy football throne, and see if we can be the last team standing. Watson might be off. What does that say? Watson might go off top 5 this year, says Jaden. Maybe. Can't wait for the season. Thank you, D-Class. Appreciate you being here. Avi, final thoughts.
I got nothing else really. I just think Walker's better going forward, and I've always liked Walker more. So, yeah.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Avi. Rockout says waiting to take advantage of the panic. Ron, final thoughts before I go on live on Instagram. So, guys, everybody follow me on Instagram. Go to the Fantasy Football Show on Instagram. I'll be live doing the pick order for the Throne Draft, where you guys draft my team, and we'll do that draft in August here. Probably actually Tuesday. We start Tuesday. And Ron, hold on. I got two other guys. I can only give you 10 seconds because I got to get out of here. Joe from Michigan, you got 10 seconds. Go.
Hey, Darnell Mooney, what's your thought?
Wide receiver, bench wide receiver that I hope I never use, but I don't mind him. He's certainly good for Fields. Certainly good for Fields, but wide receiver 5 fantasy.
Okay.
But
I'll take it. Thank you.
But upside. He's got upside. It's just hard to. I do draft him once in a while. I feel like he's a good, especially in best ball. You draft him with Fields. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. We'll be drafting Tuesday. Actually, we're gonna go Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I don't know. I got a schedule change coming because of the 8 p.m. show, and it's gonna shift some of the stuff around. But yeah, bro, totally okay with him. I don't hate him at all. I think it's good news. He's going back into his old role where he's not the number one wide receiver. And he got hurt and all that. So. Decent upside, very good for Fields, good for the offense. He'll be a solid wide receiver in terms of NFL.
I think he muscled up, and I think he's going to do great with Fields. They got the great combination, and him, Cole Kmet, and DJ Moore training down in Florida. I think watch out for Darnell Mooney this year.
Yeah, he could be definitely be a surprise. Definitely be a surprise. Definitely could be. All right, man. Appreciate you. Melvin, you got 10 seconds. Go.
Right quick, the guy offered me his first round and second round for my 9 and my second round. Do you think should I trade that picks? Well, then we go switch again my regular payment.
So you're swapping evenly first and second round. I think I would, because you're gonna get. And is this the league where you get a half a point per touch for running backs? For running backs only, you smash that. Yeah. Like you smash that. Almost, Melvin. Not because I like you so much. I'm not sending you on a lap, but you told me about this earlier. This is half a point for running backs only per touch. That means Bijan's.
No, it's 0.5 extra every time they touch the ball.
Yeah,
so it would be more
0.5. Yeah, 0.5. That is a smash. Bijan number 1 overall, and you're getting a 2 pick. You're gonna see him go Christian McCaffrey. You get Bijan number 2 overall. You smash the hell out of that. And I'd probably take Gibbs in the second round in that format, bro.
Yeah, coming back.
It's like, I mean, I hate to say that because I don't want people following my lead on that in a crazy way, but that's a different format. All right, hey, appreciate you, Melvin.
That's why.
Later.
All right, thank you, sir.
Ron Navy, final thoughts.
Yeah, I'm waiting to. I mean, my biggest thing is I want Charbonnet. Find more out about him. I mean, if he's going to be out, let's say he's out for the whole year, then we just got to switch directions on him as far as drafting him, but.
Yeah, and if Walker's not deemed healthy, then that's going to not trigger the Walker flying up the board. It might creep up a little bit, but people are going to be so worried about the entire backfield. Like there's a couple comments in here. I'm just going to avoid the entire backfield. And, yeah.
No, I'll go hard after Walker, especially if he doesn't move up. I'll still be all over Walker. But, Charbonnet, on the other hand, hopefully we can find out more about it soon. Because I've been drafting him as much as today. I've drafted him.
Yeah, just start taking him in the 120s, 130s until you know more. Probably won't be out for the year, but it sounds like it's going to be some surgery based on the verbiage, but you never know. It could be nothing. It could come out. It could be like, hey, we escaped something. Everything's good, so we just got to wait and see. But it does sound like it's worse than Walker's. Walker sounds like it's a groin injury. It's not a tear. it's a strain, or if it's a slight tear. I mean, a lot of injuries, even strains, are like partial tears to a degree. I mean, you tear your muscles when you lift weights, so there's always tearing going on. All right,
Right.
Got to run because I got to do an Instagram live before I got to get all that done by 6. So anything else real quick, Ron?
Nope, I'm out of here.
All right, later. Appreciate you. I'll see you guys later. I don't know if there's going to be more breaking news. I'll go live if there is. So I'll see you all in a little bit here. Let me read this last super chat here. I'm okay right now. Do you want this? No. Okay, last super chat here is Just Sherman says, did we talk about JT back injury working out in AZ? JT back injury working out in AZ. He's on the he's holding in technically. So JT's not 100%, especially, rehab from the ankle and all that. But we assume he probably is going to be okay if he was in a different setting. But now with him potentially being disgruntled, what's he doing? What's he working on? How likely is he to get hurt if he holds in for a while? I don't know. We'll have to see. But we're going live on Instagram right now. See you all on Instagram where I'm doing the Throne draft order. Appreciate you all. Thank you for the super chats to every single one of you. I'm going to throw those on screen right here. Don't forget, we go live at 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. I think on Monday I might just launch it at 8 p.m. even though this is starting on August 1. We'll have to see. But going forward, cemented in 8 p.m. Doesn't matter what time zone you're in or whatever. It doesn't change from 8 p.m. So you got to kind of know your own time zone shift. In October, that might move forward an hour for you, but it will be 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday instead of 7 p.m., and that's permanent. Just Sherman, thank you for your super chat. I'm going to throw all your super chats on screen from all you amazing people out there. Rock Out, thank you for your super chat. Wesley, thank you for your super chat. That Boy, appreciate your super chat. Matthew Boyd, appreciate your super chat, young man. D-Class dropping it like it's hot. Eric coming in with a super chat. Eric, you're my boy, Blue. Avi, Ron Navy with the $50 hauler. Appreciate that. He gets a bold prediction. Thank you, Ron Navy. And that is all she wrote. I'll see you all on Instagram right now. The Fantasy Football Show on IG. Doing it live. Doing it live. Doing it live. Doing it live. See you on IG.